I don't want to be like one of those girls, you know? Baby. Do you know I love you so much? Never You got anybody looking out for you, Rosie? I look out for myself. Do you know I love you so? He doesn't even mean it mostly. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. Never let you go. Then what are you trying to do? To the stars. Just trying to help. In the sky, you'll always be mommy's little guy. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh.
Today we're going to be speaking about the film The Body Remembers When the World Broke Open, directed by Maya Tailfeathers and Kathleen Hepburn in 2019. While running away from her abusive boyfriend, Rosie, already pregnant, is found by Isla on the street.
Are you okay? Can I help you? Just red. What's that? Just red. Do you want me to call the police? No? Do you know that guy? It's my boyfriend. It's just, do you wanna maybe just like walk with me for a bit? Yeah? Come on. It's okay. Come on. Do you live around here? No. It's alright, let's maybe move a little faster.
First, we'll look at the way this film situates within the mediascapes of cinema in Canada, then the recurrent thematics, formal innovations, and finally storytelling strategies. In 2019, when the film was made, the Canadian mediascape of cinemas would place a spotlight on Indigenous filmmakers through articles like 8 Indigenous-made films to see at the 2019 Sundance Film Festival, and there were several Indigenous film festivals like the Imaginative Film Festival. However, despite the apparent increased focus on Indigenous cinema, there are presently many issues in 2020 with inequality and systemic racism in the Canadian cinema industry. For example, Telefilm had been called out for using systems like the Success Index that disadvantages BIPOC creators. They've also been observed gatekeeping film funding due to caste nationalities or scripts that don't connect with the decision makers, financiers, and gatekeepers who are white and don't see the value in BIPOC stories and stars. Securing private funding by the millions is nearly impossible. A film like The Body Remembers When the World Broke Open provides an insight into Indigenous issues like substance abuse or domestic violence that can help establish more Indigenous representation in a Canadian film industry that does not have enough. Recurrent thematics. Number 1, difference. Isla is white, and Rosie looks more traditionally Indigenous. Throughout the entire encounter, Rosie almost never seems to stop actively acknowledging their differences.
You think you're so fucking smart? Like you don't know shit. You're just a dumb white bitch.
Number 2, racial injustice. On one hand, Rosie, clearly Indigenous compared to Isla, who is more white passing, suffers from issues that afflict the Indigenous community due to colonialism and years of discrimination and cruelty. These issues are substance abuse, domestic abuse, and financial restrictions since she cannot afford to live alone without monetary assistance from her boyfriend. The film shows Isla living happily and financially comfortable, safe, and healthy. Then, in the safe house, Rosie speaks about how she doesn't like the police. This is referencing racist police forces who have had enough power to act on their own biases and opinions.
Besides, I don't like cops. I don't like the way they look at you.
How's that?
Tired of looking at you like you're wasting their time.
Number 3, pride. Rosie is offered help and multiple sources of support, yet she turns them down. She firmly insists that she can take care of her own child without anyone else's help. She doesn't stay at the safe house Isla brings her to, she will not call the police, she will not stay with her grandparents, and she refuses any criticisms on her ability as a mother. Despite her precarious situation with her abusive boyfriend, she believes that she can make do on her own despite the circumstances.
Do you know what that can do to a baby?
You think you're better than me? You're not fucking better than me.
I didn't say
I can take care of myself and I can take care of my kid.
Formal innovations. Number 1, long takes. The long take is described as a shot that is unconventionally longer than the average shot in a genre's traditional editing style. One of the earliest examples of the long take was Alfred Hitchcock's film Rope in 1948, which only used 11 shots in total since it used the longest takes it could accomplish using 1,000 feet of film per take in a camera magazine. This film uses long takes, only cutting if the film had just featured a long location change, for example, a quiet walk home, and did not want to be redundant by showing another long location change. Since the film is in real time, each second counts in the film, even if it does not add to the narrative. Number 2, true story. Films based on a true story usually have more of an impact on an audience because they understand that the events in the film have actually happened and it feels more real than a fictional narrative. Some of the first films to be based on a true story covered historical events like the film The Execution of Mary Stuart, an 18-second film produced by Thomas Edison portraying a historically accurate rendition of that execution. The Body Remembers When the World Broke Open is based on a true story that one of the directors, L. Maya Tailfeathers, had experienced firsthand from the perspective of the character Isla. Number 3, handheld camera. This film uses mostly handheld camera work to keep the actors within the camera frame more easily during the long takes this film features. This also makes the viewers feel as though they are an additional character in the film, looking through the eyes of the camera that moves as an indifferent observer, staying at eye level of the characters and moving along with them. The first filmmaker to use this innovation in professional film was French ethnographer Jean Roche, who shot Moi ou Noir, 1958, handheld instead of using the bulky stable camera traditionally used to shoot feature films at the time. He believed this made the film more authentic and allowed him to be more mobile while shooting the project. Storytelling strategies. Number 1, no non-diegetic sound. Other than the country music from the building Rosie buys drugs from, or the music from Isla's headphones in her house, there is no music, soundtrack, or ambiance. There is only diegetic sound, meaning that there are only sound effects from the characters moving around, talking, or in silence. This is used to create realism and combined with the film's use of real time, the viewer is made to feel as if they are in the room living through the events firsthand along with the characters. Number 2, real time. The film takes place in real time, meaning that there is no fast forwarding until the next major plot point. If there is location change, they show the entirety of the travel, including silent car rides or long walks through a building. Number 3, slow pacing. The action in the film never takes place abruptly or quick. The viewer can always see each plot change coming. For example, when Rosie is painting her nails sitting on the couch at home and you can hear her boyfriend yelling in the background getting closer. The audience can feel the tension of the immediate danger before the scene even gets dangerous. So to conclude, the recurrent thematics of this film are difference, racial injustice, and pride. The formal innovations are long takes, true story, and handheld camera. And the storytelling strategies are no non-diegetic sound, real time, and slow pacing. The Body Remembers When the World Broke Open is a film focusing on real Indigenous issues made by an Indigenous creator, giving viewers perspective and adding to Indigenous representation in Canadian cinema.